kiddos, welcome back to math. Today we are going to complete lesson 4.5. We're going to talk about comparing numbers. So when we break things into two spots, we're going to talk about how we can compare them. So for example, if I have this train of, I'll call it a choo-choo train of Unifix cubes. Can you see? I want to break my cubes in half. And then I want to compare them. How am I going to compare? I used two colors to make this a little bit easier for you to see. How can I compare them? Well, I broke them in half. I'm going to try and match them up. Let's see. If I do it like the beginning, you can tell. If I were going to talk about how they look, I could compare that I have the same amount of blue as I do red. I can tell because they're the same height. You could see the same amount of holes. There are 5 cubes on each side, okay? It's easy for us to see because they're all the same color. Sometimes if we don't use all the same color, it might be a little more difficult for us to see. So I'm gonna add a few more cubes to my train, but you're gonna notice that they are all one color. What color are they now? They're all blue. So I'm gonna break my train in part. It doesn't have to be in the middle. It's just gonna be, I'm gonna break it apart. Now let's compare them. What can you tell? Can you tell which side has more and which side has less? You can. Let's move on to our paper. And we're going to move on with our lesson. And we're gonna do kind of the same stuff, but we're gonna draw it on our paper. Here we go. So if you are on page 205, lesson 4.5 with me, if you have some cubes, you could do this right along with me. You can see, I can set my cubes right next to each other and I can tell that the top train has more and the bottom train has less. It wants us to go ahead and draw them on here. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cubes. If you want to get really detailed, you can put the little holes in there. You don't have to. Okay, so there's my 5. That's my top train. My bottom train only had, did you see how many it had? Can you tell? There are 3. So I'm going to draw my 3 cubes here. So I have 3. Now, I have to be able to compare them and match them up. So I'm going to draw a 1-to-1. There's one to that one, and match that one to that one, and match that one to that one. And now, by looking at this, when I'm comparing, I can tell this train has more than this train. I can also tell how many more it has. After I've matched up, I can tell that it has 2 more. So you could talk about which one has more, or you could talk about which one has less. Okay? So you can practice that with your own Unifix cubes that you have at home that came home in your learning box. And you can tell somebody, you can break it apart, and you can compare them and tell somebody at home about your train. Compare the two. Which one is more? Which one has less? All right. Let's go ahead and put those cubes just down for a minute while we take a peek at page 206. And number 1 at the top, you can see my friend Malia has some balloons. Malia has the red balloons, okay? And then her friend Andrew has the blue balloons. Can you tell who has more balloons? How can you tell who has more? You could use a train. You could use your cubes if you wanted to compare. You could make a train with 6 balloons and a train with 7 balloons. Okay. Another way we could do it is we could do 1-to-1 this way. 1 red, 1 blue. 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 Okay. So each red had a blue partner. But there's one blue one that doesn't have a partner. He's out there all by himself. So the blue, there are more balloons than there are red. Now we're going to actually draw this out in a train. They've kind of split this out for us. So this is the reds and these are the blues. Let's go ahead and draw 1 cube for each red balloon. We saw that we counted 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's write the number 6 that represents how many cubes we have here at the end. I'm going to swap to blue now, and we said there were 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to start over here at the beginning where that line is. 1. I'm going to try and make them the same size if I can up here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's write the number that represents 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to put the number 7 over here. Now let's match them up like we did. But we're going to match 1 to 1. And you're going to do that all the way across till we find out which one does not have a match. There it is. It's the one at the end. So if we're talking about comparing the cube trains, right, we can see which one has greater and which one has less. So is 6 or 7 greater? It's going to be 7. Circle 7. It is 1 greater than 6. Another word for greater than, or another phrase for greater than, is bigger than or more than. Okay? We've been practicing that when we've been comparing numbers. All right, friends, that's a lot of information right there. You are doing a fantastic job, and I love how I see some friends listening so nicely. Good job. Let's go ahead and turn to this page. This is going to be more comparison, and so on the last page, they had some beautiful, pretty lines. We don't have that here. Let's go ahead and divide this into 2 French fries just like that. We've done that before. Whoops, I kicked the camera, I'm sorry. And number 2 is going to have 2, and number 3, again, right between those 2 lines. Let's go ahead and divide that out, okay? For number 2, it says Kyle has 9 tickets, and Jared has 7 tickets. Who has fewer tickets? So that's a lot of information. Let's break that down a little bit. Let's start with the first one. The first piece of information we got was Kyle has 9 tickets. So this is going to be Kyle's row right here. And we know he has 9 tickets. Let's write the 9 right away. That way we know how many we have to draw. It also said that Jared had 7 tickets. Well, we'll make Jared down here. And let's go ahead and write that number 7. There's no secret to that. We know that one has 9 tickets and one has 7 tickets. So now we have to draw. Instead of doing cubes, you can use your Unifix cubes. I don't think you guys have 20, so you wouldn't have enough. I'm going to just draw counters instead of the cubes. So I'm going to go ahead and draw them. So Jared has 9, or I'm sorry, Kyle has 9 tickets. So start here all the way on the end. That's what that line is for. They want you to start here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost like a big caterpillar, huh? And down here, Jared on the bottom half has 7. Make sure you're still above this blue line. We're still here on number 2. So again, start here. 1, we're going to make 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so now we have the job of comparing numbers. We need to know which one, has less. Let's see. Less means smaller. Let's match them up and see if this will help. So 1 to 1. Don't skip any. Do the next one on each side, on each top or bottom. Oh my. Let's see. This one doesn't have a partner and this one doesn't have a partner. So which one has less? I hope you said 7. Because all of 7s are accounted for. They all have a partner or a pair with 9. There are some up here on the top that don't have partners. which means this one doesn't have as many. It has less. Think about it. If your friend had 9 M&Ms and you only had 7, you would have less M&Ms. Your friend would get to eat 2 more M&Ms than you did. So 9 is greater than 7, or 7 is less than 9. Let's move down to number 3. We're going to do another word problem. Lots of words, so be a really good listener. Phil, you know Cousin Phil, right? Well, Phil, he went to the carnival and he won 8 prizes. A little girl, Naomi, she only won 5 prizes. Who won fewer prizes? You can use your cubes if you want, or we can draw it out. I'm going to draw it out. Let's go back and think again. So it tells us that Phil, we're going to put Phil on the top. He won 8 prizes. So let's not wait. Let's just go ahead and write 8 right here, okay? And on the bottom, Naomi, she won, do you remember how many? She won 5, right. Naomi won 5. So 8 prizes and 5 prizes. This line here tells us this is where it's going to start. I'm going to actually draw squares this time, and I'm going to have to draw 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8. And here we're going to have to draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're trying to find out which one has less. Well, if you were just to look at the trains without any matching, could you tell which one is less? I hope you could. I tried to draw my boxes about the same size as the top ones, and if I did that correctly, then that means that the bottom number has less. It doesn't have as many. The top train is longer, and it ends up having more. If we were to match them up 1 to 1, you could see there are 1, 2, 3 on the top without a match. 3 on the top without a match. So which number is less? 5 is less. 5 is less than 8, or 8 is greater than 5. You could say it either way. Okay, friends, we're winding up here. We're winding the lesson down. We have 1 more page to go. Are you ready? Doop. All disappeared. Magic. Let's go ahead and go to this very last page. Oh, I like this one. Ryan. We're going to talk about Ryan. Do you know Ryan? I know a Ryan. I have a son named Ryan. Well, Ryan has a cube train with red and blue cubes. Here it is. 2 red, 2 blue. 3 red, 1 blue. Does his cube train have more blue cubes or more red cubes? So we've got to make cube trains that represent each color, and then we'll compare the 2 cube trains by matching them up, and we'll find out which one has more, blue or red. So let's see. Let's draw, I want to draw my line down the middle. That's always so makes it much more easy for me, especially mom and dad with the kindergartners who sometimes have a tendency to go up or down when they're drawing. If there's a line, they know they can't go below that line. So let's start with the red cubes first on top, okay? So I'm going to draw 1 red cube for each one here. Let's count them, okay? So red's going to go on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and write that 5 right there, because that will help us remember how many red cubes there are, and that's easier for us to draw. So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got 5. Now on the bottom, we're going to draw the blue cubes. So let's count the blue cubes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Just go ahead and write that right there. It's not a secret. We know that'll help us remember how many to draw. So we go back over here to this line, and we're going to draw 3 cubes. Try to make them about the same size as what's up here. Makes it so much easier when we compare. And I know that's much easier said than done, Miss Vogel. Okay, so now we're going to compare them. Let's match them up and compare 1 to 1, 1 to 1, and 1 to 1. Now, we can see this one doesn't have a partner and this one doesn't have a partner. So, if I ask you the question, which number is greater? What do we have more of? Do we have more reds or more blue cubes? What could you tell me? We have more red cubes. So we would go ahead and circle that 5 because we're comparing the numbers, and 5 is greater than 3. What'd you think? How'd that go? Did you do okay? It's a lot of information. It's really hard, boys and girls, I know, when teachers are giving you lots of directions, and not everybody is what we call an oral listener. So sometimes we have to pick out the most important numbers or the most important facts, and that's where we start. And we listen and we try and pull out all of the details that we're going to need in order to solve the problem. You will do great. Keep practicing. The more you practice at anything you do, the better you get. I'll see you tomorrow with math.